May the 14th, 1839.
Dear Mother,
Yesterday, a meeting was called by Brother Armstrong and others in our community to consider some subjects to be discussed by all the brethren.
The king and the chiefs wish to have a family set apart to teach the young chiefs of the nation, and they have requested
After
that
they closed
we
the
might be
meeting,
the
Brother
ones.
Judd came to see if my wife and I would become teachers of the young
The
chiefs.
mission has consented.
We refused, only on the assumption that there were others more
The
competent
idea
than
of a special
ourselves.
school does not originate with them, but they seem desirous of having
I
it
lay
done.
awake almost all night, laying plans, etc.
Some believe it will be a good and righteous
We all
thing.
feel it will be an experiment well worth the effort.
Many are sure it will come to naught. I fear I am among the latter.
But if God should so wish us to be chosen for that employment, then His will shall most certainly be done.
Today, 2 boxes came from Sunderland. One box was filled with dried apples. The other box contained, among many other precious items, a white plaid loose dress from the society,
Mrs. Cook,
as well as letters from you and others at home. They are precious jewels.
Mrs. Cook,
Just a moment. I'm finishing this note to Mother.
that can wait. I wish to speak with you. Thank you. You have had time, I take it, to read the letter.
Which? The king's letter. Oh yes, I've read it several times. Studied it, in fact.
Here is our thought to you, that you become teachers for our royal children. You are the ones to teach them wisdom and righteousness. This is our thought to you.
Their thought, their order.
You needn't sound so glum. Mightn't be all that bad.
Dad, we didn't come here to teach the royal household. We came here to teach the local children.
We came to be missionaries, to do what is needed, to do what we are told. Kamehameha and his chiefs have made up their minds. Our opinion does not pertain. Brother
I've
Judd
spoken
and...
with some of the wives, and their concern
Don't
is that...
interrupt me, please. Brother Judd and Richardson have made it clear that our missionary community is in a delicate position in regard to the king and his hospitality toward us. We neither wish to seem ungrateful or...
Submissive?
Well, I don't think I would have chosen that word. We are treading on eggs here.
Yes, but what if it seems as though we are choosing favorites, selecting the royal few and excluding the rest? It may look as though we are trying to separate those children from the others. And God does not see one child as better than another.
You have consulted God. They listen and they learn. Like children back home.
We are not qualified.
Of course we are. We are teachers. They are students. We're more than qualified. Mrs. Cook, I know that this assignment is not what either one of us expected or wished for. I know that you're disappointed, and I'm sorry.
It's just that, well,
They're princes.
you've seen them. They're willful and unruly. My goodness, I've never seen young people so
So,
spoiled.
we will cut them down to size. With your warmth and patience, and my...
Stubbornness.
Well, I don't think I would have chosen that word either.
Your diligence, then.
Together, we can get the job done. Together, it'll be an adventure.
An adventure? Perhaps.
Besides, if we don't take the job, the Catholics will. We can't allow that.
So, but how I wish so much were not at stake. I keep coming back to that thought. What if we lose our way? Especially when we don't know where it is that we're going. What if we blunder? Perhaps someone else should do the task for now.
It is
and
us. This is not sounding like you. First you say yes, and then you make excuses to say the opposite. Is something the matter? And writing letters to your mother already? The mail won't be leaving for 2 weeks yet. Is anything wrong?
Of course not.
Is it the headaches? Have they returned?
No, I'm fine.
You're not fine.
I'm fine. There are others among us who have richer gifts for teaching these children, I'm sure. And frankly, I don't know how we will do the job, but God will help us.
You do believe that, don't you?
Of course I believe it. You know I do.
Well then,
It's just that, well, they're
they're children.
like none we've ever known.
They're children. Take your seats.
Take your seat! Take your seat! Take your seat! Take your seat! I take my seat.
Now, children, you have so far not shown good behavior. We will not accept it. Quiet!
Now, there will be no Hawaiian spoken while you are in this room. Only English. Do you understand?
Ulit.
We taught some English, so don't try to fool us.
Fool.
This is an American schoolroom, and so only English will be spoken here. Is that understood?
Oh, these long faces. We know you can understand English and speak it fairly well. Your parents told us so.
Parents.
Yes. Yes, your mothers and fathers. So, English it is. We welcome you children to our school. We are pleased to have been chosen to teach you.
How do you do? Now it's time for you to introduce yourselves, don't you think?
How do you do?
Tell us who you are.
But we know who we are.
But we do not.
You know us. You say so.
Everybody knows us.
Everybody there is.
Yes. Tell us your names. Introduce yourselves. That is how strangers come to know one another. It is the first step in making acquaintance. What is your name, young man?
Oh, Moses. Ikuaiva.
We are pleased.
I am to be called Lot. Kamehameha.
Alexander Nicoli.
My name is Bernice Palahi. I am 9 years to age. Abigail! Thank you.
My name is Liam Charles Unawibo. I am 40 years old. 4 years old.
Thank you, boys and girls. Our Lord Jesus Christ loves children most among his creation. When you behave well, he is pleased. When you behave ill, he is very sad, but loves you just the same, as do we. No whispering.
Please, sir, who are you now?
Oh, of course, we forgot our names. My name
We are Mr. and Mrs. Amos Starr Cook. We have traveled here all the
Please,
way
sir.
from...
You say you Mr. and Mrs. Amos Starr Cook. You both Amos? You both Cook?
He is my husband, and I am his wife.
Mr. and Mrs. Cookie! Mr. and Mrs. Cookie! You Mrs. Cookie! We marry us together! Oh! We go on a faraway journey. We say, aloha! 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 English.
We stay together. We stay together.
I want my Mr. and Mrs.
Oh no, we told me to
All right, children, that's enough now. Why don't we go back?
You do as they say, but
Children,
stay.
catch my breath. Who were those awful people outside?
They're Kahu.
Yes, we were warned that their servants might be coming, but we had no idea there would be so many and so loud.
Drunken, I don't wonder. We cannot allow them here, of course.
We must speak with Brother Judd at once.
About the Kahu.
About today, how it has gone, how terrible it was. Uncontrollable.
No doubt he will expect a report.
He will appreciate our giving him sufficient time.
Time?
Yes, so he can find someone else to replace us. You will, of course, inform him that we are not suitable for this task.
Of course not.
What? Didn't you? Haven't you
No
been...
doubt tomorrow, when they return, it will be better.
No, they will not be here tomorrow. They will not return. They are so wild. I don't want them near me. They are
Why
too
are you
wild.
crying?
I'm not crying. I can't catch my breath.
We have our duty to them, so you have to be brave.
I am a teacher. I shouldn't have to be brave, for heaven's sake. They were all around us, and they were...
I've never seen you behave like this. Is this because they pushed you? Are you certain you're all right?
No, I'm fine. I was just so scared that
Scared?
that I might fall. That is, if you had caught me and I...
Things will get better. We shall make them better. You and I. We shall teach them to mind us. I don't know what else to tell you. You need a handkerchief?
No, thank you. Of course, you are right. We must give them another chance.
The fact of the matter is that the king's children are likely to go to the devil unless someone takes charge of them. After all, royal or not, they're
But
heathens.
they have been baptized.
But they haven't been saved. That is also up to us.
They do come from such a sorry upbringing of alcohol, vice, and depravity, but...
We are obliged to offer them a better way to be. So, you must agree now to give me your promise.
Which?
The one we made before we arrived here. The one we made to the good people who sponsored us. The one we made to each other. And to Christ our Lord.
Serve.
What?
To serve. Where there is a need, to find that need and to serve it.
You aren't alone, you know.
No?
God is here too. Shall we pray? Have faith that it will get better, and it will.
You said that to me the day we set sail for here. Have faith that it will get better, and it will. But you were referring to something else.
Our marriage, you mean? I realize that we didn't know each other very well when we started out.
No.
But the call of duty was strong in me. In both of us, I dare say.
Yes.
Is it still?
There was nothing that I wanted more in my life than to come here, and that has not changed. All that was missing was a husband, and you a wife. I know what my duties are, and I know how to carry them out.
He that getteth a wife getteth a good thing, and obtaineth favor from the Lord. Solomon.
Proverbs 18:22. Mr. Cook, I'm going to have a child.
You are? Truly? Oh, no wonder.
At what?
No wonder you've been in such a mood lately. Oh, we're going to have a baby.
Well, I am anyway.
Oh, we shall be taking care of you from now on, Mrs. Cook. That is for certain. And of course, the children mustn't be allowed to threaten you in any way. We shall do nothing but take care of you.
Mr. and Mrs. Cookie, come to us quick! William falls off the swing!
Times 2 is
4.
2 times 3 is
6.
2 times 4.
Equals 8!
Do not interrupt me, Bernice.
But I know the answer.
But you interrupted.
But the answer's right! 8! 8! 8! All is 8!
I did not call on you to speak, nor you, Abigail. Good children do not speak unless they are called upon.
2 times 4 is 8!
I did
2
not.
times 4 is 8!
It's 8!
It's 8!
We're right! We're right! We beat your
Quiet. Please go on with your lesson. Keep your hands to yourself, Lot. Put them in front of you. Where is Moses? Answer me, someone.
He's with his couple.
They go horseback riding.
He should be here. He knows it is school time.
He knows.
I see.
Now, shall we continue, class? 2 times 5 equals 10. Very good, William.
Don't interrupt.
2 times 6. No.
Stop it, Lot!
I did nothing wrong. No fair. Let the boy
That
here.
will do.
So good.
Be still! Be still, I say this in the classroom! Moses, thank you for joining us. Please take a seat.
Ah, Mr. Cookie.
Good afternoon, class. Now, 2
You are late. You know that our school begins at an exact and unchanging time every day, but you are late. And this is not the first time either.
What is late? What is time?
We were multiplying tables and now you are full of not knowing anything because you're stupid horse riding.
Times. 2 times 2 times 3 times 4
Young man.
is 44.
48.
Gallivanting with your Kahu when you should have been here. Is that correct? I want an answer, please.
I told you. 48. You know 48 is 84 backwards? But 84 is not 48 backwards. Why do we learn numbers when numbers are wrong? Why do we learn English when English is wrong?
You are bad.
I am bad.
Listen here! Each and every one of you bring your Kahu here every day. They sit outside the door, they lean against the fence, they look in the windows.
They do what we tell them to do.
They belong to us.
Children do not need servants. You know how to find your way here and how to find your way back home. You are no danger of getting lost, I dare say.
I dare see.
Children cannot always have everything they want.
We do. We always do.
Alec, you shouldn't talk such here. This is school.
I talk when I will. You don't tell me what to do, what I do.
Ah! I'm glad that you brought that up, Alec. You anticipated my reason for dropping in on you like this, so I thank you very much indeed.
You're welcome.
Now, to continue.
No, I said it's another matter, then you may go on. Now, who can tell me what this is?
A stick.
A weapon.
It is called a ruler. Ruler. It is used for making straight lines and for measuring lengths. It is made of wood, as you see, neither soft nor hard, and it does not easily bend or break. A ruler, a lula.
Speak English.
Now, as you know, one word can mean more than one thing. God's great and perfect world is full of all sorts of things, and we have had to find words for them. In the beginning, there was the Word. And who knows, perhaps because there are more things in the world than there are words to describe them, we who speak English must use them in more than one way.
We know all about 2 words mean one thing. One word can have itself mean many things. Kona, do you lie on the beach? No, I tell the truth on the beach.
That's very good.
And if you lie on the beach but tell the truth,
Then I lie without lying.
So you understand. Very good.
We are liars.
Enough for now. Abigail, Alexander. Now, what have I here? Yes, a measuring stick. Also, regulations, manners, and a person who rules. A person who measures the width and breadth and length of human behavior, who makes straight in our lives what is out of line.
For example, children, God is our ruler.
Yes, indeed. And here on earth, there are persons of such authority.
Kamehameha is our ruler.
And a fine and honorable ruler he is. I see you understand us. That's very good. This ruler allows me and my wife to rule this school. It allows us to make rules for you to follow. Rules that will serve you to everybody's advantage.
rules. They make you do what you do not wish to do. Rules are hard.
I like multiplication, it's easier. Numbers, they mean only one thing.
You have all been very attentive, and I thank you for it.
You're welcome.
Now to return to our class.
Now, with Mrs. Cook's further permission, I shall take a moment more to tell you our list of rules. We wrote them down last night just for you.
Well, I thought we were going to wait until after the children's dinner.
No time like the present, Mrs. Cook. Now, you will listen, and we will continue to tell them to you until you've learned them. Shall I begin? First, no student may leave the schoolroom without permission. No student may leave the school grounds without permission. No fighting in the schoolroom or on the grounds. No punching or kicking or tickling or pushing. Next, students must respond to the school bell when it rings, which means be on time. To school, to meals, and to prayers. Punctuality is more than important, it is essential.
Mr. Cook,
Yes, do you have a question, Moses?
what are your rules?
You shouldn't talk that way. That's bad.
No, fair enough, Moses. Mrs. Cook and myself have rules to follow as everyone else. First and foremost, we are obliged to obey our Lord Jesus Christ, from whom all goodness and knowledge come. To the President of the United States, we remain loyal and true, even though we are very far away from our motherland. And finally, to Kauikeoli, Kamehameha III, we owe our respect and gratitude for welcoming us to his fair islands.
Fair enough.
Next rule on the list. From here on, no kahu shall be allowed on these premises ever again, without our permission.
We go home. Everybody go home.
Be still!
There are Kahu.
What am I doing there?
This is not right. Our code has nothing to do with what your rules say. Therefore, our rules. This is not fair.
I decide what is fair from now on.
And that's not fair either.
Moses, take your seat, Alec.
These long faces. Children, these rules are not meant as punishment.
No.
They're for your own good. So we ask that you learn them, you abide by them.
You say we must learn rules, and you say we must learn words, and one word can mean more than one thing. But if the thing doesn't exist in the real world, then how come there can be a word for it? Numbers don't exist in the
I
real
can't
world.
follow you.
So we agree, yes, to learn your rules. But then what? Is school over? Do we go home? Or do we start our school for you? Do you learn our rules? We are the teachers now. In the beginning was the word. No. In the beginning was the sky and the
You
sea
are saucy,
and
young
forests
man.
and birds and the son of a chief.
And I am the king of this school. You are headstrong, all of you, and that is not a worthwhile thing to be.
We go home to our own mouth.
Don't you dare move.
Who'll be next?
Another rule, children. Don't talk unless you have something to say. Don't ask until you have questions you believe in. And don't answer just because you want to talk. Furthermore, with the consent of the king, we have made a major decision in our policy, one that we hope will prove to be a turning point. From here on, we shall be boarding the chiefly children with us. They will live under our roof and under our care full time. I'll just finish this entry. There will be less distractions from the outside world and more time to instill in the princes our
Mr.
ways.
Cook, please.
Yes, what is it?
You cannot strike the children.
I don't see why not. We've been given permission.
This is different. They are of royal blood. It is Kahua to even approach them in a violent manner.
Nonsense. They have to know that
But
we...
not by hitting them. That is not the correct way to exert control in the classroom.
Speaking of which, your arithmetic lessons seem to be lacking some authority when I walked in.
I was managing them.
Well, shouldn't you be teaching them instead?
Once I can manage them. They don't like you, sir.
I don't need them to like me.
But they don't respect you either. All I'm saying is that we need to be very careful. We are feeling our way. We have neither the gifts nor the capabilities.
Speak for yourself, woman.
Very well then. I am not able. I do
I don't
not
want to hear
have the
this
gifts.
any
I'm
further.
just saying we need to be
No,
careful.
listen, please. If one sees a problem, a reasonable and able-minded person goes about solving it. Isn't that so? He does not settle for making up excuses as to why it cannot be solved. Am I right?
Yes.
Pardon me?
Yes, I understand. It is a failing of mine giving up too
It
soon.
is not a failure. It is a challenge. God gave us challenges. Each man his own particular set. You aren't giving up too soon because I shan't let you give up. What we are doing is right, and God is on our side. Do you doubt that? Then do as I say.
Well, of course I'll do as you say. It is my duty.
More than that, surely. You're tired. Is your headache better?
A little, yes. What shall we name him?
What? How do you know it'll be a boy?
Isn't that what you would choose?
Rise at 5 in the morning!
Exercise at 6:30, then prayers.
Then breakfast.
Class for 3 hours.
Then dinner. 3 more hours of class. Exercise. More exercise. Supper at 5:30. Then prayers. Lights out at 8:30.
Above the clouds with their shadows are the stars with their brightness. That was said by Pythagoras. He was a Greek man who was born over 2,000 years ago.
Oh, he must be very tired.
No, son, he is dead. He was a very wise man, as for all the ancient Greeks, but a soul lost before the time of Christ, alas. Nevertheless, he looked, he observed, saw what we see, only he saw deeper. He determines that everything up there exists in a perfect and predictable way. We stay still, and everything else moves.
So beautiful.
Our people, we know stars. We know them like they're our hands. They're part of us. We set sail, we went forward, and they told us where to go across the ocean.
Stars do not speak.
No, but they tell.
You are quite right, Alec. Constellations, the North Star, the planets, helped your people find their way here.
No, sir, it is we who help the stars. But of us down below, they have nothing to do. They lose their shine and go dark. We're why they shine.
Alec, you have such a vivid imagination. You can truly tell a story and make it come alive so it is enjoyable to us all.
No imagination, Miss Cookie. It's not a story. I see.
Oh, well, yes, it's like faith, right, Mr. Cook? Like faith in God.
No faith either. I see.
The stars have long been a spectacle for all to wonder at, and it is no surprise that people of the past saw figures in the sky, stories, destinies, so many myths to be inspired by.
What is a myth?
An old tale that loves to be told and retold. The ancient Greeks had many myths that we remember even today. But as Mr. Cook said, we are inspired by them, but we do not truly believe in them.
Why not believe in them? It's not lovely what I say. It's not a story. The Greeks think whatever they thought, but we know. We look up, we see the stars, and we know.
You're a myth, Alec.
To you it's a myth, but to us it's real. Like this.
Where is Moses? Where is he? Does anyone know? Yes.
He is asleep.
He's gone to bed already.
Under the puhala tree.
Shh. He should be here. He is missing an important lesson.
You'd rather sleep than look at the stars.
I will have a word with him later.
Oh, if you have a word with him, make sure it's a very loud one.
And God created the firmament and divided the waters which were under the firmament, and he called the firmament heaven.
Oh, is stars heaven?
Perhaps. When I was a little boy your age, I looked up there and I thought the stars were watching over me. Angels' eyes.
Oh, I wish to sail up there from star to star. Pick up one and turn and go and look at another. All night long, my hair will get full of stars, and I will sail like a boat through the air.
My foot goes dead.
My children, look. Look and be delighted. There's nothing more beautiful than God's handiwork. His blanket,
Irma. Mum.
Music. Music is made up of notes. Notes on a scale. La, 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 la. Hush, I know you all can sing, for I have heard you. Like birds you sound. Today I will teach you a hymn.
A hymn?
Yes, a hymn. A hymn is a song that
Excuse me, please. Does he sing a hymn or does he sing a hymn?
Or does he sing a she or she sing a her?
That's enough, that's enough. A hymn. H-Y-M-N. It sounds just like H-I-M, but it is a special song. A song that praises God. Jehovah's servants go forth, go forth, here. Stop. I will tell you when to start. Just listen very carefully. Jehovah's servants go forth, here and there. Have compassion for those lands locked in ignorance. Once again, shall we? Jehovah's servants go forth. Go forth, here and there. Have compassion for those lands locked in ignorance.
Help! Help!
Don't kill us now!
Where are you?
Come here at once!
He found us looking in the window!
Spirit so evil it kills you!
Be still. What on earth is this all about?
I am spirit! Dead from life! Doomed to walk forever in the dark of night!
Moses.
Away!
Moses!
Stand back! Or death will take you! No mercy!
Shame on you. Shame on you, I said, scaring these young children.
You die. I die. We all die!
Enough, I said it.
Oh!
I thought it was real. The nighttime makes the scariest things look true. And you are a bad boy!
Stop that. Why did you do this, Moses?
You hurt my arm.
Are you listening to me? Listen to me. You may wish to have some fun, but you went too far.
This is your family, your brothers and sisters. You cannot take advantage of their vulnerability.
What you did is a sin.
No.
Yes.
No, it's fun. I was making up some fun for them. They're stupid to be scared. It's not my fault you don't understand me. Ah! See? You got scared too. Stay away from me. Scaredy. Scaredy. Scaredy.
Children.
Scaredy.
Enough.
Okay, Alec, listen, stop it.
One for you too, fat boy.
Do this!
You are strong, Mr. Kuke.
Moses tried to scare us because he himself got scared yesterday.
No, a lie.
What happened, I know, is this. He saw the mark of the kahuna yesterday before supper.
Cooling.
What is the meaning of all this kahuna business?
Well,
Fine, I will say. What do I care? Yesterday we were behind the school, near a road.
It's growing dark.
Shh.
I saw a hole in the ground. Not deep enough to fall into, but so deep I had not seen it there the day before.
go on, Moses.
It was a special hole. I stood to one side and a shadow fell down. I moved to the other side, but the shadow stayed in the same place. It didn't move. That's when I knew. Bad kahuna put hole there. And whoever finds it first is cursed. Maybe now, maybe long from now, wherever the kahuna is, he's already begun to pray me dead. It means I am meant to die.
Pray to death. Oh, poor Moses. You have a smart reason to be scared.
I am too brave to be scared. Whatever is coming, I am ready.
Now, Moses, what in the name of mercy are you going on about? Pray to death?
This is something our people know. Evil kahuna makes a hole in the ground. His mark. Whoever sees it first dies.
Now Moses has brought an evil spirit to this house. It is like what you say in school, the devil.
The devil is here for certain.
You should never have come to
Now,
you.
all of you, you have no reason to be afraid. If you have any cause for fear, all you need to do is pray.
All this talk about holes and spells and evil spirits, why, it's the worst kind of deceitful thinking.
A sin?
A myth.
Worse than a myth. It's blasphemy. There is no evil kahuna, here or anywhere. They have no supernatural power. It says so in the Bible. Such nonsense is against God and his ways.
And what do you call the devil? He lives here as well as in New England too?
No, I know what I know. I do not need your imaginary stories to tell me what I know. Nothing God or the devil can say will change my mind. And what? William Luna, we will. Are you scared of me also?
Not me.
You're a good boy, huh?
I feel too sorry for you to be scared. If you die, and I have your horse.
Everything I have is yours, Uhaku. Aloha.
Go to bed, all of you. Abigail, Bernice, good night. Good night, Alexander.
But I want my tuna. I want him to have supernatural powers. It's not a myth. We have our own ways of guiding us. Without them, we're under a sky without stars. We're under a sky without stars.
I cannot sleep. I will never sleep again.
Be a big boy. Bernice will put you to bed.
I'll take care of that. William, would you like to hear a nursery rhyme?
Yes.
All right.
What is it?
It is something that children hear and then learn, and then they learn another, until they know a whole book of rhymes for the nursery. Are you ready? Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been? I've been to London to see the Queen. Pussycat, pussy, what did you do there? I chased a little mouse under her chair.
Are you going to die?
Oh, sweetheart. No, not for years and years.
How many years?
Many, many. Hard to count that far.
I don't wish to die. It frightens me.
But then we will see God face to face, and he will take us by the hands and walk with us through the gates of heaven.
Stars?
Will light the way, yes, to paradise.
How do we walk? Mama?
English, William, you know the rules.
I miss my mama. You too?
Okay, let's get you to bed, Art. You must be very tired.
Our scholars continue to share the largesse of our attention and sympathy, and are worried. We still fear their high station will cheat them of heaven.
When he was 6 years of age, little George received a present. It was a
hatchet?
A hatchet.
But how healthy they have all become. Good food, exercise, regular hours for work and sleep and play. They grow like weeds.
He started to use it for everything he could find. He could not stop chopping down everything they saw. He cut down a small cherry tree.
They can converse intelligibly in English, even among themselves. And they read, write, cipher, parse, spell, and study geography.
Now, Lot, I told you not to pull Abigail's hair. It is not gentlemanly.
But there's so much of it.
That will do.
He can't keep his hands off of me. Such a gentleman.
That will do.
But now, more and more, our little scholars are beginning to want a taste of what the world calls pleasure.
When his father asked George, what has gone wrong with the tree? Why is it not there when it used to be there? George said, I cannot tell a lie. Father, I am the little boy who cut down the cherry tree. And his father was very happy that his son told him the truth. And they went inside the house and ate dinner.
Thank you very much, William.
Do I get a star?
You get my thanks for a job well done.
Yeah, I would like a star.
That
Also,
is for me to decide, not you.
catch it.
Oh! Naughty boy, pick it up. Pick it up.
You're naughty too. I'm sorry.
Sit down. William has shared with us some wonderful things about the first father of our country. Does anyone have any questions?
My question is, did you know that La is in secret love with Abigail?
I hope it's not
No, I meant to say, does anyone have any questions about George Washington?
Lie! You smell that too!
Oh. This is a classroom for intelligent education, so I felt obliged to tell everyone what I know. Lot loves Abigail and his heart beats loudly because of it. George Washington never told a lie, and me either.
Nobody likes me, nobody!
Lot never told lies either. Nobody does like it.
Continually, we are to remind ourselves that we have been entrusted with immortal souls to train for the eternal world.
There was a big desire that George Washington become leader of the new country, United States. It's not inclined to do it. One thing he wanted most of all is to own his plantation and plant trees and such things. But more importantly, he was worried about the equality of the leader of the new country.
They were calling George! Wasn't that his name?
I mean, what his job was called. He himself, of course, was that of Washington, but he did have to be called something. Do you understand? Some of the choices that were His Highness, His Exalted Highness, His Exalted Mightiness,
They
but
called him President, idiot. Everybody knows that already.
you won't let me finish my report.
You finished enough. Sit down.
Nobody cares what I have to say about George Washington. What did I page so far? Nobody cares about anything I have to talk about. Everyone's some stupids.
Thought that is not true.
It is
We
true,
are
it is.
very interested in what you have
What?
to say, and don't contradict me, young man.
It's true.
America is a democracy, and democracies do not have kings for their leaders. We, the brand new United States of America, had already experienced being ruled by a king when we were colonies of England. But we fought for our independence and won our freedom.
Do we have freedom? Do we have peace?
Raise your hand if you wish to speak.
History. His Majesty Washington told England to go away, but England said no. So America fought England, and England went away. Now, if we don't fight America, America stays. If we don't fight France or England, they stay also. No, but this is the island of Hawaii. We stay because it is ours.
What is your point, Moses?
My point?
What is the purpose of your remarks?
You ask many questions, but you don't wish for any answers. All you want to do is talk.
And all you want to do is come up with some big thinking thoughts, so you can go, oh, look at me, teacher, I'm so smart.
I don't need a teacher to tell me that I'm smart, because I am smart. Whether or not the teacher says so, no doubt.
Shut up, Crikey, no doubt.
No doubt.
You are all very intelligent, I agree. But you and Moses are both likely to speak before you think, and then you proceed to say more than you have to say. So your intelligence looks like less than it is.
And that's bad.
It's a waste of time.
But I always have reasons.
Don't contradict her.
Suppose Commodore Wilkes invites us to visit him again on his ship in the bay, and my royal students spend the entire time chattering away. The result is you not only seem selfish and irresponsible, but you're rude, and you lose the opportunity to hear the Admiral's stories of sailing the 7 seas. He does not need to hear how well you speak, but you may need to hear what it is he has to say.
She's correct. We shall never be backwards again. There is value in learning the ways of other kingdoms.
Other kingdoms are alright, but not their history.
Yeah, history tells us what we did.
History tells us what's dead. I'm tired of all this.
Well, then wait just a few minutes. The next class is geography. We're scheduled to study South America.
South America? Isn't one America enough?
Yeah, we were discussing George Washington.
No, Mrs. Cook, we were not. We had moved our talk beyond him and then. We were talking about dust. Too much history. It's old and useless like dust. Blow it away from you. Gone. What is dust? You know, this room is a grave, filled with that which have come and gone.
What?
You know that, right,
Why
Alex?
are you saying all that? Maybe you're wrong. Haven't you ever been wrong?
Not yet.
Well, you are a show-off too. You and Alec both.
No, I haven't figured out. Moses is just crazy.
And you are. You're the next king of Hawaii. Your Majesty. Maybe. I choose not to be buried any longer. I choose to rise up. I'm going fishing instead. Aloha nui.
Just a moment, young man. Where do you think you are going?
Ah, I do not think. You think. That's what school's for. I go.
Moses. Moses, I am speaking to you. Be so kind as to show me some respect.
Respect? Is that what you wish for, Mrs. Cook? Respect.
I am telling you to sit back down in your seat.
And if I do not, then you hit me? You hit me too?
Certainly not.
You hit me good and I learned my lesson. Where's your ruler? Where's your whip?
I do not believe in striking a
And
child.
your husband believes in it plenty. He whips us all the time and he likes it too.
You will call him Mr. Cook if you please. Mr.
Crap! Good day, scholars. Good day.
Moses!
What is crap?
I think I know.
We feel there is still much work ahead of us, Mother. They are all advancing. Not one of them has gone backward. But as to the remaining things to thoroughly prepare them for their work as future leaders, I am sad. Yes, sad lest they embark upon their work as royalty without knowing what is truly important. Goodness and knowledge. It is our constant and daily prayer that they become children of God.
Mrs. Cook! Brother Judge just informed me. The king was seen drunk. Again, need I add, and several of the chiefs. I don't know the complete list. Apparently they were at the feast in Lahaina and got carried away.
I see. And here I thought for certain he would keep the pledge this time.
Nothing is for certain in our lives here. As for myself, I am not much surprised.
He is such a genteel man. He can show such good manners.
Yes,
and
well,
then-
refinement or not, the Bible is very clear.
Well, what about the children? Have they heard?
You know how they are. Somehow they know these things without having learned them. At any rate, you anticipate my point. This is probably as good a time as any.
As good a time as what? I don't follow.
Well, for the children. Brother Judd, well, he thinks that it's time, in light of this incident, to enlist the children on the side of their own temperance.
Temperance?
I know we have discussed the matter.
No, I know the matter has been discussed by you and Brother Judd, but not by you and me. You didn't ask for my opinion. We cannot ask them to take such a pledge, Mr. Cook. They are children. They are too young to know what it is they are signing.
Not know. Their whole lives they've been witnessing their parents' debauches.
That was natural to them, not sinful.
Yes, well, now that we've taught them the difference, we'd better back it up. Brother Judd thinks
He
that this is-
hasn't taught them. I don't care what he thinks.
Well, you most certainly should care. He is our spiritual advisor.
And our employer.
Yes, I should have thought that was too obvious to need repeating. The gulf between the elders' thoughtless conduct and the ideals that we wish to teach their offspring, well, it seems to be growing wider. We ask them to respect God. Are we obliged to ask them to respect their parents as well?
We are their parents, Mr. Cook. Haven't you noticed? They are our children. They have become our children.
That is too fanciful a way to look at our situation.
But true nevertheless.
We have children of our own. John and Martha, and another one on the way, God willing. Our own flesh and blood.
I am not talking about flesh and blood. I am talking about who is now living in our house, day and night, month after month. Those royal boys and girls, they have moved into our lives. They are ours without being ours. No temperance pledge has been. Not now, not yet.
I will make my own decision in this matter.
This is a voluntary pledge for the preservation and correction of we the children of the royal school. Whereas we the undersigned are convinced that it is best to dispense with ardent spirits, wine, tobacco, opium, as either luxury or diet. Therefore resolved that relying on divine aid, we hereby pledge our promise to abstain from these articles, except as medication and the use of wine at the Lord's Supper.
Thank you, boys and girls. We are so proud of you. Mrs. Cook. Mrs. Cook.
And then, on the 14th of July, 1789, an angry group of common people broke into the royal prison, the Bastille.
The Bastille!
Bastille!
Yes, ma'am. And
Say
they...
it, Bernice, repeat the name, for that is how we learn.
Bastille. They set loose all of the other common people who were in the prison. And 3 months later, another angry group of common people broke into the royal palace, Versailles.
Versailles!
Versailles!
I knew that was wrong. I hate French.
We hate them too.
Go on, Bernice.
They broke down the walls of Versailles and put young King Louis and his beautiful wife... Louis? There's no... E.
It's French, Bernice. What can we do about it?
Put young King Louis and his beautiful wife Marie Antoinette into prison, which was not the Bastille, but another prison just as horrible. But with the help of royal friends, Louis and Marie escaped in the dark of night.
Yes!
But they were caught and taken back to Paris in chains, and they were put on trial for their lives. They were found guilty for neglecting the needs of the common people of French nation. It was decided that they should be guillotined.
Guilty?
Which meant that they were to have their heads cut off from their bodies.
Not fair!
William.
So Louis said that he would agree to die first, but his wife Marie would not leave his side. Louis begged her, please, my beloved wife, release me. No, she cried, 1,000 times, no! The noisy crowd of people were yelling at them to be killed on the spot, but they continued to hold each other in their arms. Just one more kiss before I die. No! Why not 100? 1,000!
Oh, that is so sad. Oh, it can't be true. Oh, I hate this. I hate the French.
That's what I said! All that kissing? Too much kissing.
No one ever kissed you. What do you know about it?
That was an excellent report, but I must ask, was that last part, the part about the royal execution, quite accurate?
Yes, Mrs. Cook?
In every detail? I myself do not recall all of that romantic embellishment.
She means the kissing.
I may have written down what I could not find in the book.
How do you know that it happened?
If it is not in the book, that does not mean it didn't happen. And maybe it did happen and someone forgot to write it down.
Imagination has its place, Bernice, but not when it concerns historic events. You ask for us to pay attention to you and listen to you carefully, so we expect you to tell us the truth.
Yes, Mrs. Cook.
Now, Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette, the last king and queen of France, What can we learn from this unhappy episode?
Know who your friends are.
And make sure they're not French.
How do you spell guillotine? Oh, it feels strong in my mouth. It's like a big sword.
No, it's far worse. It's a blade that hangs high in the air and a rope keeps it in place. A person kneels on the ground below it and just at the right moment, someone lets go of the rope and down it comes.
Why does everyone have to die in history books?
It's a beautiful story. It is. Even though it is so sorrowful. Oh, and you read it so well, too.
You should see the pictures of them. How enormous their hair was. Up and this way and that way. Like they were wearing clouds. Oh, you could be Marie Antoinette with a cloud on top of your head.
I would like that. We could sit together, Mrs. Antoinette and I, and look wonderful.
Your Majesty.
My Majesty.
Girls, let's not get carried away.
But I want to get carried away in a carriage on the clouds, my hair getting bigger and bigger. Someday, when I am queen, and I will wave at everyone. And I will get rid of that guillotine, and everything will be perfect.
Now, Abigail, you have much to learn before you are queen. You must not be vain. You must try to be humble.
I don't need to be humble. I don't need to be like you. Someday, I may be queen, but you will always be Mrs. Cook.
If their hair is so large, how do they keep from falling over?
Corsets!
I seem to have entered at the end of something humorous. What have I missed?
The reign of terror.
Curious subject for laughter.
We had strayed from the track, Mr. Cook. Shall we continue class? No one has yet answered my question. What can we learn from this unhappy episode?
It's the Catholic's fault. It's always the Catholic's fault. They don't kill anyone who isn't Catholic. It's not funny, it's serious. You both said that the Catholics are terrible people.
We believe that they are wrong only in regard to their faith and their beliefs.
What's the difference between what they believe and what they do?
No. An excellent question, Lot. What is the difference between what we believe and what we do?
Oh, and I wasn't laughing at you, Lot. I think you're handsome. We all do.
Now, we have been making much too excited by the story. Historic events are oftentimes very exciting, which makes them easier to learn about. Historic lessons are another matter. That is where the serious comes in, and that is where the learning begins.
I agree, Mrs. Cook.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. So once again, the death of this tragic couple, the revolution, the bloodshed, what can this teach us?
The lesson is clear. Don't be an elite.
No, nothing in the books at all.
Go on.
Not to be an elite. In France, that is. It is a sad tragedy what happened to the king and queen, but maybe it was their fault. They could have done many good things, but they didn't. Here it can never be the same or ever will be.
Here.
Here at the elite, we take care of every person and child. If times become hard, we too work hard to make sure that everything is right. Nobody goes home hungry, nobody goes abandoned. We take care of everyone. It's pono.
English, Alec.
Pono is pono. There is no English.
But Ali are not always pono. Ali have not always done their correct duty. I studied the French king and queen and the time that they lived, and I kept thinking here to us. Louis and Marie were too proud. It made them stupid. And I thought of our Ali. Sometimes they are too proud.
It's not the same. We're different than France.
I don't know, Alec. I prefer to look at what is the same, not what is different. Do we always do what is right?
What is right is what is best.
More and more I think of how nowadays our people, they wish to look more after themselves. Ali can make mistakes too. Do they always do what is right?
Don't say they, say we. It is us.
I only mean that our people, they wish to be more, I want to say the best word. They wish to be more free.
For what? From what? They're free. They obey their king. The king protects them. Everyone is free. Don't you believe that our people are equipped to take care of themselves with happiness? It has always been that way. Why shouldn't it continue to be so?
You have so many words, Alec. So many. But they don't always show your true feelings. For me, words and feelings are together. No, they are the same. You don't need to remind me of our dignity, our greatness. It is that greatness which saddens me when I see our people sin.
This is not about sin. We don't sin. We don't need to.
Then what about God's?
Their God.
Ours, everyone's. You say we don't sin, but we still need to pay attention to God.
Didn't God make us? You and me. In His image. Isn't that so? So, God made a leaf. And if God made a leaf, then He must have meant to make us the way that we are. To be different, to be special, to be strong, to be rulers. So we do what God created us to do. There's a leaf in heaven, are there not?
Why, certainly.
Are there not?
There have been many good Hawaiians, no doubt, but we are not allowed to know who God lets into His house.
You are a leaf. You cannot change. Even if you wanted to. You cannot.
We're the kings and queens of Hawaii. We hold our head up high. They won't be cut off.
I will keep my head. Just let anybody try and take it.
Have a seat. We were just continuing our discussion of the French Revolution. Bernice had shared her report on Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette.
Off with their heads!
We were trying to establish the birth date of democracy. America, France. Soon there will be other revolutions, and once that seed is planted...
Off with all their heads!
Good of you to take the time to join us this morning, Moses. Do you have anything to add to the subject? Any lessons to be learned that you can think of?
Do you know how old Louis and Marie were when all this happened to them?
How old they were.
Did you not read this far? Your age. Younger than me, but not by much.
As young as that?
As old. Poor Louis, poor Marie. To be so young and to have gone through so much. You know, they drank boku wine. They played boku cards. Oh, they danced. La la! Dance! La la! Dancing under thousands of candles.
Ah, candelabra!
Dancing night after night, so busy dancing that they never heard the marching in the street. What marches? And they never went to bed until it was oh so late, too late. And they never woke up again.
Where have you been? I can't help but wonder what business has kept you from arriving in class until now.
Business?
You weren't at prayers, you weren't at breakfast.
It was gone all night, too.
Is that so?
Tattletale?
You were with your dissolute friends again? Making merry? You were drinking?
No, sir.
For a change.
Nor was I playing poker, nor was I dancing a jig, nor was I swimming in the moonlight.
I ask again then, where were you?
I was at the palace.
The palace. You've spent this whole time at the palace. You know you're not allowed to leave the school. You can't just sneak off anytime you please.
But I did not sneak. I walked.
It doesn't matter, Mr. Cook. You know how Moses likes to go off on his own.
Yes, he's always playing tricks, but it doesn't matter now. We are all at school.
You chatter like I've done something wrong.
What
What do you keep still? It's bad enough that you stroll into my classroom anytime you please, but then you deliberately disrupt it.
I did nothing disrupting. I just came into the room.
Yes, so you said, after drinking all night.
I wasn't drinking. I was at the palace. I was commanded to go.
By the king? I don't believe you. Kamehameha asked you to pay him a visit in the middle of the night?
Not the king. Why would the king want Moses?
All right, this will stop right now! What have you been keeping from us? Answer me!
I've been keeping nothing from you. None of us have. If you ask us, then we will tell. If you do not ask, then there's nothing to tell.
Tell what, Moses?
Everything you want to hear, but nothing you want to know.
You speak in childish
It
riddles.
doesn't matter. Pay no attention.
I went to the palace at night because I was commanded to do so by the queen.
The queen.
Keep her company?
Pussycat, pussycat, where have you been?
You've been having illicit relations with the queen?
They are not illicit. It is what we do. It is our ways.
Your ways. I spit on them. Ways. This is nothing but fornication. You've been in bed with Queen Kalama?
Is this the first time? How often has it been?
No, Mrs. Cook. No.
No.
No. What we do in our private lives is none of your business. It never has been, and it never will be.
I can't believe this. I won't believe this. It's just as I feared. You can't teach a savage. You can only tame it. Sleeping with the queen! I can hardly bear to say the words. Is this your Alii, Alexander? Is this an example of which you spoke? How strong, how majestic, descendant of the gods! You are weaklings, is what you are. A whole race of depraved weaklings.
We are not weaklings.
You are nothing else. You are depraved, disgusting.
And you are.
Yes. Yes.
I don't know.
You started this obscenity. You deliberately led these children.
We're not children anymore. We have grown up. You can't go on keeping us in our rooms like they're cages.
We don't keep you in your
We
rooms.
have grown older. We learn new things, new adult things, things you do not teach. So we must learn them from our kupuna.
This is our home. This is not your home. That is true, and that will always be true. The king commanded you to teach us. So you have. The queen commanded Moses to pay her a visit, and he has. It's no different. Like Moses said, what we do in our private lives.
We. So it's not just Moses. All of you leave here at night. Go wherever you please, with whomever you please. All of you? Lot. Alec.
If you ask, we will tell you.
But you're children. You haven't grown up yet. Not in my eyes. You are not grown up yet. You are not.
No? Then how do you explain that she is not two? Two, not one. She has a woman's body now, and she's pregnant.
Moses! Wolfie!
No, yeah.
Why don't you tell me?
How could I have not known? Is it true?
Who is the father?
That doesn't matter.
Of course it matters. Who is the father of your child? One of these heathens?
A boy. Someone from the high school. You don't know him. He's nice to me.
Abby.
No, don't make me feel bad, Mrs.
No,
Cook.
don't feel bad, Abigail. Love is good to have. Children are good to have. And your child will be royal.
Don't be sad, Abigail. Be proud. You are sad because they have taught you to be sad. Sad is something they brought here, along with fear and
How
shame.
dare you say that?
Ugly, stupid thing.
You godless wretch!
Those are your words, not mine, not ours. We are sick of your words. So much words, so much books, so much Bible. You can't do this, you can't do that. You know, God says no. Jesus says no. All you say is no, no, no. No more, teacher.
Let go of him! Let go of him!
Mr. Cook, we're sorry.
We are not. You will answer for this, Moses. I don't know how, and I don't know when, but God will make his answer known. This is all your doing, Mrs. Cook. If you had supported me, this degradation would not have happened. The blame is yours.
Class is over now?
You had better go now, Moses. Please just go.
Fair enough. Who will come with me? Any of you? for that. Bernice? No company for Moses. Abigail. Pretty sister with the pretty hair. Your children will be so fine. Not one of you will go with me.
Moses,
Yes, cousin, I'm ready. Off we go.
will you?
No. Little prince, not yet. Someday, maybe. You're a good boy. Aloha.
The maker makes it, but does not use it. The buyer buys it, but does not eat it. The one who needs it never knows it.
February 1st. Moses is expelled from school. He will not be back. This morning, Brother Judd called and read to us a document for Moses to sign, which was approved by the king. It is now to be presented to the Privy Council. Therein, Moses acknowledges his punishment as justly deserved. You cannot make figs out of thistles.
Measles have begun to spread throughout the islands. We have already carried away scores of natives, and before this, it was whooping cough and mumps, scourges which all of us bore as children, and now they ravage the Hawaiians, young and old alike, elite and commoners. Mother, I am so tired.
Mrs. Cook, it's late. Surely it's time for bed. Good night, then.
And then they took the stone from the place where the dead was laid. And Jesus lifted up his eyes and said, Father, I thank thee that thou hast heard me. And I knew that thou hearest me always, but because of the people that stand by, I said it, so that they may also believe that thou hast sent me. And when he had thus spoken, he cried out loud, Lazarus, come forth. And he that was dead came forth. Now what can the story of Lazarus teach us? What might we learn from it? Might it be that sometimes we find ourselves in a situation that tests us? Or perhaps we may feel that God has forgotten us or has delayed too long in answering our prayers. How quiet it is.
Are you up?
I'm fine.
That you kept rubbing your forehead.
I'm fine. You recall, I'm sure, that I am in prospect of becoming a mother, and the first few months are oftentimes the hardest. True. Yes. How quiet it is, except for that dreadful noise.
Immaculate.
Yes, I see.
Someone just died.
Now shall we continue? There is a lesson to be learned learn from every story in the Bible, and this one is no exception. Jesus calls out to his heavenly Father and says it is because of the people that stand by that he says this so that they may also believe. Why might he have said this to God? What might he have meant? Surely one of you has a thought.
God doesn't bring people back to life. They die and then they're gone. Death is all around us now, not down the road anymore, but here. And now Moses is very sick. It's unfair.
I know this, Lord. I understand. I do.
Mrs. Cook, we're gonna have a baby soon. He'll grow up and be a good brother to his brother and sister. But what about our family? What if none of us survives? What if we all die?
If your baby died, would God bring it back to life?
I don't think so, no.
But is it possible? If you believed enough in Jesus, might be.
None of us can know God's plan.
Then why doesn't he just tell us? What is he waiting for? God is evil!
No! It is the sickness that is evil. The sadness and the confusion, those are challenges and they're hard to bear. I don't know.
Mrs. Cook, do you think the measles came here because we were bad? Is God punishing us because we've sinned? That's what Mr. Cook says.
He's wrong. I mean, he doesn't know. None of us knows.
You have always wanted me to become a Christian. You have been waiting for us to join you in your faith. And I have tried to. But it's getting harder to believe as you do! All I want to know is, if I don't become a Christian,
For me,
will God make us die? I mean, sooner than we're meant to.
Oh.
And then we go to hell. Look out there. There is hell.
Stop it. We're all becoming too pregnant and worried and the dreadful joys. I wish I could tell you that things will be well again and soon, but the Bible says, I seem to remember somewhere, the Bible says that God will sweep away both the people and animals. He will sweep away the birds of the sky. Well, what should we have done differently? What do you need that we haven't done? Does anyone have an answer?
We've been educated so well. Just full to the brim with knowledge, we can hardly keep our heads up. We know how to read a poem and wear long clothes. Say clever things to interesting visitors from far away. But we don't know how to live for a future. We don't know how to keep from dying. Taught us how to be ignorant, Mrs. Cook. Mrs. Cook.
Go together with Jesus. He will guide and protect. The Holy Spirit shall be with you. And
Forgive me for interrupting. Children, Moses is worse. He wants us to go to him at once.
Cậu kay quá mà.
Moses, we came as you asked, as soon as we were able. Do you have a fever?
Yes. I feel like I'm here and not here. I'm drowning in the air. How are the others?
School, they are well, considering. All of them, many of them rather, have been ill, but not too seriously, thank heaven. As soon as one of them recovers, he helps the others who are sick. They are thinking of you and praying for you to get well. They've been through so much.
So much. Yes.
Smooth seas do not make for skillful sailors.
Tap, tap, tap. The carpenters are so busy. Have you heard that? Tap, tap, hammer and nail. So much work to do, so little time.
We are so truly sorry for your suffering.
I'm almost done. Mr. Cook, will you stay home?
No, Moses, I'm here.
Both here, Mr. and Mrs. Cookie.
You must be strong, Moses. Keep your sight on the Lord and his promise for salvation.
We could pray with you if you wish. Would you like that?
No,
We only thought that perhaps at this time that you would wish to have
you
a
can
prayer.
pray for me when you go home. Tap, tap, tap. Perhaps that coffin is for me, yeah.
At this time, Jesus alone can offer you consolation.
You may be right.
You only have to ask for his grace, and it's yours for eternity.
Words.
But I hope and trust that God fills you with all joy and peace in believing, so that you may be part of the Holy Spirit that abides in all things.
I'm dying. I'll go be with my Ohana and all those who have come before me. If I see a Jesus there, that'll be fine. If I do not, I don't give a damn. If I see the devil there, I see how much he looks like me, yeah?
Right to the end, Moses. Is it to be? Right to the end, a spiteful...
Your life is nearly over, and that is a pity. You are so young. You should have many, many years ahead of you, and...
But God has other plans. What is even more a pity is that you have never made yourself a useful man. You have confined yourself to trivial and wasteful pastimes, contemptuous of the school, of your parents, of the Hawaiian nation, and of God.
This is not the time to be saying such
Time,
things.
time. I asked you both to be here so I can say goodbye. I have said my aloha, you may go.
You dismiss us. The young prince allows us to take our leave. Very well.
But you didn't get what you came for. You didn't get my soul yet. Most of all, you would want a conversion before Isaiah. My arms spread wide open. Isn't that so? No soul. Not yours.
If we were too harsh, Moses, if we were too hard on you,
There is
it's
nothing
only...
that we need to excuse ourselves
There
for.
might be, that's why I'm
There is
asking.
nothing. Moses has led a life of sin, and he is paying for it with this.
You can't possibly mean that.
God knows what he is doing.
But you don't!
Remember yourself, woman.
Mr. and Mrs. Cook, you're married after all. You know, I always wondered, love is sometimes loud.
We're done here. God bless your soul, Moses Kahua.
Your children are well?
Yes.
No measles?
No.
And another child on the way?
Yes.
And Abigail?
She has married her child's father. He is respectable, I don't doubt. All is well with her. Mr. Cook did not mean what he said just now. I'm certain of it. He did not mean that God is punishing you with this sickness.
I think you're wrong about that. But thank you.
Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name.
Oh, no. Not prayer.
I meant no harm.
No harm, just no use. You've prayed so much. You've prayed us all to death.
No, 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 no.
Just stay there. Just stay.
Are you afraid?
Not anymore.
I think your fever is it's getting better. Yes, I'm certain that it is.
Thank you. You go away now. Yes? Aloha nui.
yet another letter requesting me to consider partnering with him, the missions depository. There are plans afoot to convert the depository into a separate business establishment. I am doubtful, for I am a missionary first, and a teacher second to that, but I have to become a man of business. After all, I still teach 5 hours daily, write for our missionary newspaper, correct our students' communications and compositions, and barely keep
Mr.
abreast of... I'm just finishing the century, can't you wait?
No, it cannot. Put that down, please. Put it down. Moses is dead.
May his troubled soul rest in peace. Have the children been told?
They knew without any telling. I've told them to go home and be with their families.
But, well, I suppose that was the right thing to do under the circumstances.
We are closing this school.
You mean because of the epidemic? But we
I
have
mean
no way
now,
of knowing.
I mean permanently. At the earliest opportunity, I've decided.
You've decided.
I can't do this anymore. I will not.
I beg your pardon, but there are others to consider here. Have you forgotten that? The mission, the king, the children, certainly.
I don't care.
You don't care. This is no mere pastime you can whimsically cast to one
I
side.
have taught. We have taught those children everything we honor and hold dear, but I see no way in which that has helped any of them. You are free to carry on my responsibilities, but I am no longer willing to do my part.
I couldn't possibly go it alone.
I dare say.
I know you're upset about Moses. It's very sad and regrettable, but you're not thinking reasonably. We must go forward. To choose any other way is wrong.
You have no right to tell me that I am wrong. I have learned some things too, haven't I?
Well, we shall discuss this another time when you are
Oh,
calm.
listen to me! For the first time in your life, listen!
I'm listening.
Moses,
What about
he
him?
shouldn't have died. It shouldn't have happened.
That is as may be. We cannot always know the ways of providence, let alone question it.
Are you so sure of knowing God's will? Is he your Lord and Master, Mr. Cook, and are you his servant? Or have you come to ask him to do your will? Have you and he switched places? I tell you, he shouldn't have died.
So this is really about Moses. I see.
Your behavior towards him was monstrous, vile. What you said to him, how you preached. He was breathing his last breaths, and you had the gall to treat him as if he were a common sinner.
He was a common sinner, as well as a selfish...
And so are you!
I don't know what you're talking about.
He was on his deathbed, not in your classroom. You had no right to say those awful things to him. It's not just him, it's all of the children, every last one of them. You have used them as an excuse to have your way and enforce your rules. Since the beginning, you have held yourself superior to them. You've kept the ruler high.
What's wrong with that?
Your heart is what's wrong with that. You never cared for any of them.
I have no need to care for them. I was there to teach them, not cradle them.
No, we really do.
No. I feel sorry for you. You have lost your way. I have not. I've had Jesus Christ to guide me. And I thought that I had you for help as well, but apparently I was mistaken.
That makes two of us.
You're not in your right mind.
It's never been greater. Those children, I see them even in my dreams. They're more special than we knew, than we imagined, and they're doomed. Name one thing we've given them. Name one thing. We should never have come here. I don't mean just you and me. I mean all of us. We should have stayed home.
But we did come, didn't we? And now we are here, and we are never going to go away.
I've almost come to believe they should all just die. the sooner the better. Because I don't see how they can keep on living with what little we've left them. All we've done is take away their language, their culture, their past, their happiness, and now their lives as well. Did you see Moses? Did you see his eyes? Like stars they were! They were so beautiful. So terrible. Don't you see what we've done? Don't you see? I feel such shame for us both. Shame!
Juliet, I'm sorry for your distress. There's no pleasure to me, and it's a waste of time and an affront to God. As for Moses, I have nothing to reproach myself for. If I were in that room again, I'd do nothing different. He spit at me, and he spit at death, and then he laughed. The devil himself was whispering in his ear.
The devil? Leave him be. There was only one devil in that room, and I